Alright, hello everyone. Tonight we're doing the new Planar Cube Draft that they added to Magic the Gathering Arena. Not doing pair of lives, even though that's usually what's on the schedule for Tuesday. But I just haven't been feeling it. Like, I think maybe I'll get a bit more into pair of lives once it's a bit more fleshed out. And especially once I can maybe get something akin to the okay, something's weird with my microphone settings. Oh yeah, something is definitely weird. Gotta take a moment to deal with some filters, I think. Okay, let's see how that is. Yeah, apparently I turned my noise gate off at some point. And as a result, it was making the audio overall louder than usual, and it was picking up my new AC unit. Because I actually have a proper AC unit now, rather than just a 2-fan setup. Well, honestly, I think I may still have some use for one of these fans, because just in case I need a little bit of extra cooling that's more directly on me, because even though I have the fan oriented towards where I sit, like the fan on my AC unit, I'm like a little too far from the window for it to really reach me all that reliably. Right now I've got a good amount of cooling. I'm gonna spend gold for this. Because admittedly, like, I haven't been, I at the very least was not a huge fan of the previous this cube that Arena offered. But they've said that this is a little bit less powerful than the Power Cube, so So maybe it'll be more my speed this time. I mostly just wanted to get to play with Booster Tooth or with that one, and I never got the chance. Of course, I've got to wait to actually get a draft table. Go. Frozen Borrower, Multani, Nissa, Wistfulness. Yeah, I'll go with Nissa on this one. Because, I mean, it's a landfall card, so... And this is specifically the Zendikar iteration, which has cards that are supposed to empower Zendikar focused mechanics like landfall. Alright, we've got Jace, Mirror Mage. Jace enters if Jace was kicked. Create a token that's a copy of Jace, except it's not legendary, and its starting loyalty is 1. It's got Torok. Like a Dread Cantor. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the Leyline Binding. Maybe we can make some domain happen with our 2 Nissas. Yeah, so with two different Nissas, definitely going to want to have a lot of like landfall type stuff. Which even just going 2 colors means that Leyline Binding costs 4. Since we'll have plains and forests. So that's 1 basic land type each. Interesting that that's specifically showing like Theros Beyond Death as the booster pack instead of having a specific Marriages of Conflict. I mean, Fabled Passage seems real good for doing some landfall shenanigans. Well, technically, I have not gotten any cards that explicitly say landfall. Mostly, I think we're just going ramp right now. Since both Nissas have stuff that cares about number of lands.
never betray you, man, that's a fact. Yo, he's your best friend and never foe. So come on and let's go.
Yeah, we can pick up a Get Lost for some extra removal. Clarion Conqueror seems like it will be extra useful since, I mean, Planeswalkers are abundant enough that I have 2 of them. In this format. Yeah, sure, I'll grab 6. Maybe I consider going into black. Because they have said that, like, yeah, this is potentially a good, this is a good cube for potentially going 5 color, or at the very least going for more than 2. Because there's 3 copies of all of the fetch lands. But also, the fewer colors you go with in draft, the easier it is to just find a solid lane and stick with it. Like, white seems pretty decent right now. Like Skyclave Apparition, Luminarch Arc Aspirant, although it's generally not a great idea to have like multiple colors of double pip or especially even triple pip cards, so if I want to play my Warren War Leader and Skyclave Apparition, I might have to cut Voice of Zendikar Nissa just to make the mana line up a little bit better. Which really, right now, I might even end up not even staying in green. Sundering Sentinel starting intensity 2. You're not sure. I'll take it just in case, like with 2 red and 2 white seems like kind of like a risky inclusion. But again, if I can get some good fixing, then it might not matter. Beza. I'll go for Beza and see if the Emeritus wheels. Bristly Bill seems good. You know, some really proper green landfall shenanigans. Maybe not voice of Zendikar, just so that I can focus in on the white side of the deck, like mana wise. Yeah, sure, I'll take the aggro. Good old Banishing Light. Yeah, I seem to have ended up pretty solidly in white at this point. Ooh, Darkstar Banisher. When this creature enters, exile target non-land permanent with mana value 4 or less and opponent controls. That seems pretty good, especially since they don't even get the thing back. So maybe I'm going Orzhov instead. Especially since it's 2/2 with flying. And not a terrible mana cost either. Yeah, seems like my AC unit is still picking up a little bit. We've got Dark Confidant. Or I could go for Tifa. You know, maybe. I mean, maybe if I can get decent fixing for it. Abzane could be an option. Because I mean, I've got a couple landfall all-stars right here. With Nissa, look at the top 3. Grab a creature, land, or planeswalker. You may spend mana as over mana of any color to cast planeswalker spells. Currently only have the one planeswalker, which actually works better. Because that means I can use mana from any land. Like, I'd be able to just play this, and then as long as I have at least 3 mana, I can just summon Nissa, a Voice of Zendikar, anytime I have her in hand. I should grab a Caustic Bronco. I think pack 3 is going to be when I really need to settle, okay, am I going Abzan, Selesnya, or Orzhov? Or technically I could go Golgari. I mean, I have more that's green than I have that's black, but I was also picking green fairly heavily at the start. Yeah, I'm pretty much not in red at all, so it didn't even really matter what I picked for that. Ooh, Shigeki. That's Voice of Resurgence. I think. Yeah, I think I'm pretty solidly in Selesnya now. I could grab a Shaya, but yeah, I'll risk another double pip in a different color. Gotta wait for the pack to actually get to me. Yeah, I'm definitely not as good on the tooth situation as I thought. Because I can feel it rubbing. It's like probably... Spinemaster's Vault. Don't really have any use for that. I'm just gonna take the Elite Interceptor, since I'm pretty solidly in my colors now. Probably next stream will be like the night after, whenever I have this tooth dealt with. Which could be as early as Tuesday. Because I have an appointment Yeah, sure, throw Sandman in there. Kind of disappointed in that they're throwing Universes Beyond in here, especially Marvel Universes Beyond. Because it kind of seemed like maybe they were leaning into, you know, Magic's lore a little bit here. But here's Sandman. Terra Sunder might actually do something in this format, I don't know. Like, it certainly does stuff if you're in both green and black, but I don't know what all there is to target artifacts and enchantments-wise. Yeah, look, if you got an appointment to see somebody about my tooth Monday, so depending on if they are willing and able to do something that day, and depending on what exactly they need to do, how long the recovery takes, I might be able to stream again as early as next Tuesday. Hey, I don't know. Oh, actually, I do have a land that produces colorless mana. Yep, Legion's Landing seems good because that turns into a land. So it'll trigger landfall stuff. Which Shaya is going to be real good for the landfall stuff, since Shaya makes all of your non-token creatures into forests. Got one more pick coming. And it's rip apart, so it's basically nothing. I can probably actually cut some low-cost stuff, because I've got a lot of low-cost stuff. I feel like I could... You know, I'll actually cut the Oath of Nissa, because I've only got the one Planeswalker. And I'll even cut the one Planeswalker. I want to say fuck Spider-Man and then cut Sandman, but at the same time, he seems like he's going to be really good. Like, power and toughness each equal to the number of lands you control, pairs with a Shaya to make it also basically each land and creature you control, and can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Probably cut the Displacer just because I've only got the one land that produces colorless. I can probably cut Terra asunder until I know what the enchantments and artifacts that are being played in this format look like. Although, I mean, I've got some enchantments in the deck, so maybe that's a sign that they're going to be good. Alright, so let's try this out. Alright, got a couple solid cards for turns 2 and 3 at least. So I think that's a keepable hand. Forest and pass. Okay, so we're up against at least tricolor. Throw out Bill. Bill immediately dies. Fantastic. Plains. Skyclave Apparition. Exile that. Forest. Kill the mine security. And swing 2. Lower powered than the powered cube, huh? Well, I mean, at least, you know, I'm not getting hit with I'm pretty sure a combo from, I want to say, Legacy in the first game. So that's nice. No, this is instead more along the lines of modern. Complete with a card that was so good in modern that it got banned from the format. But, you know, I built a deck that's more on the level, like, you know, regular draft. Yeah, I didn't try hard it enough. Yeah, I think we're done here, especially with Shivan Devastator coming from my head. For however much mana. Probably at least 4. Yeah, clearly, if I ever build a cube, it's probably gonna be like a popper cube or something. Just because, like, I like draft because it's low power. Like, I like draft because it's relatively low power because, you know, you're mostly working with commons and uncommons. Not all of this. Alright, forest. Arboreal grazer. Put my brushland onto the field. Arboreal grazer is already dead. Throw out Clarion Conqueror, sure, why not? Yeah, just go ahead and kill that. Lightstall Inquisitor. And yeah, sure, I'll throw Tifa out as well. Plains. Nissa, Vastwood Seer. Get a force in my hand and pass the turn. They're gonna kill something. Exile, technically, but yeah. And I'm being paired to, like... I'm getting paired up against somebody in gold. On game 2. Where I'm sitting here in bronze. Right, Luminarch Aspirant. Give Nissa a +1/+1. Swing for 2 damage. It looks like they're probably going for Gideon. Put it back in your hand. Baneslayer Angel. I'll pump up the Inquisitor. Just double block. Baneslayer immediately takes care of it. Yeah, sure, get rid of everything except for my Baneslayer. Yeah, give attacking creatures a control +1/+1. Swing for 6 in the air. Well, at least it got me into silver. At least I got a win, at minimum. I've got maybe a solid hand. Like, could probably use a 3 so that I have something to play on turn 3, but I've got a couple turns at least to draw into something for turn 3. Plains, Legion's Landing. Get a 1/1 white vampire. Forest. Swing 1. They're in at least 3 colors again. No. You don't get an extra land this turn. I instead draw a card. Or Bristly Bill, swing with the vampire. Forest, pump up Bill. Shigeki. Swing 3. And pass. Yeah, maybe this... Maybe the power level is fine. You know, maybe that first deck was just a bit of an outlier. Well, they're using it to draw cards and not to immediately tap down Bristly Bill. And then put a Shia out. Bristly Bill can survive this. Swing 6. Make some pass. Okay, now they're tapping down Bill. Now they have decided that he is enough of a problem. But now I'm just gonna start putting counters on Ashaya instead. Swing 13. So they pretty much have to do something about all of this turn. Well, they've got treasure cruise, so really they're hoping to draw into something. And Aether Channel will certainly do something. So they can return a shot. Wait, no, it can't. The only thing on my board. Well, the only things on my board that they could have targeted were the Legion's Landing and the Vampire token. Because all of my stuff is lands. Other than the tokens and the non-creatures. See, maybe I judged the cube a little too harshly at first. I think I'd like to have... I would have liked that hand to have had a forest in it. Although, I mean, going second... probably not as bad as it could have been. Plains, Light Soul Inquisitor. They exiled Oust, which means that they can just pay an extra 1, which they have readily available. Yeah, no Goblin Rabble Master right now. Just gonna take a little bit less damage. Forest. Clarion Conqueror, pass. Well, at least I gained 3 life off of that. Forest. Sandman, Shifting Scoundrel. He's gonna die immediately, isn't he? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on if they have... Of course they have a combat trick of some variety. Well, at least if I ever have a land card in my graveyard, I can bring him back. Of course, that's assuming I'm not thoroughly dead before that ever happens. Yeah, there's pretty much nothing I can do about that. I guess I could have played the Clarion Conqueror at some point. Because that would stop the... Because that would have stopped the equipability. So at least there's something I could have done, I just didn't do it. Which is, a lot better than... Well, there's nothing I can do because this match is just completely lopsided. As has often been the case with certain competitive formats. Looking at you, just about every constructive format in the entire game. There's a reason why I don't really play any competitive constructed format anymore. Because at least with draft, sure, there might be the occasional super powerful deck. But at least there's some hoops to jump through. Oh, to get that super powerful deck. Hoops that are not, oh, just pay money. Alright, two damage with Vigilance. Alright, Bristly Bill. I have to take 1 damage because I don't have a green source that doesn't deal damage to me. 3 damage with Vigilance. Four damage with Vigilance. It's gonna die, isn't it? Not dead. Just sent back to my hand, which means that it gets to do its thing again. And throw in Clarion Conqueror as well. Sure. You get more tries at getting a good draft pool the more money you spend on the format. But to say the draft is pay to win is about saying oh, the lottery's pay to win because you can buy more tickets. Which sure, it's an increased chance, but it's not a guarantee. Meanwhile, when you're spending money to just straight up get wild cards to build whatever whatever the meta has decided is the most powerful deck. That's guaranteed. Like, you get what you paid for. Hence why it tends to be that constructed formats are a lot more homogeneous than draft. Five in the air. Plus, again, like, draft is just generally lower powered because there's only so many rares you can even have. Like, the average draft deck is probably going to have maybe like 3 rares. Maybe more on occasion. You know, if you got into a really good lane. Oh, and they just didn't even block. Oh, right, because Baneslayer Angel has protection from dragons. And that's a dragon. So I didn't even really need to worry about powering up Baneslayer Angel. Forest, Arboreal Grazer. I use it to get my planes out. Tifa, Forest, pass. That's with no attacks because only thing I could have attacked with was an Arboreal Grazer. Planes, Tifa triggers, Philodar retreat. They're gonna kill Tifa. And so I pass with no attacks again. Alright, go ahead and kill that. Pass with no attacks again because I don't have anything with any power. Right, Foreign War Leader, Planes. Give all of my creatures +1/+1 counters and vigilance. I've got 1/4, a 5/5, and a 1/1. And if I get another land next turn, which I can make a lot easier by playing 6. I can give each another +1/+1. But first my opponent has to finish their turn. So play 6. Oh, it's when 6 attacks. So I'll retrace to get Tifa back. Swing a total of 8. Tifa's gonna die again, almost certainly. Oh, unless they've got like something that deals 2 damage to the war leader. Because otherwise that 3 damage is moot. Yeah, they could just give everything minuses. And just kill my entire board. Alright, Fabled Passage. Create a cat. Make another cat. Yeah, I think I'm pretty well all fucked on this one. And that was my last loss, so 3 wins. I would need, because I have been considering, getting the mastery pass just for the extra wild cards, extra gems and whatnot. Well, really, you don't get extra gems. If anything, you get a discount on effectively 1 draft. Because I'm almost certainly not going to use any of this Marvel superheroes bullshit. Like, I've played with like 2 cards out of the entire set. Which is more than usual, but that's just because they had interesting designs. Like, I want to make it very clear in case somebody from Wizards of the Coast is listening. I did not play them because I like Marvel superheroes. I did not play them because I like the characters at all. I don't even know who these characters are for a lot of them. I played them because they were interesting Magic card designs. They could have been anything else, and I would still have been just about as interested, if not more. Just in case, somebody from Wizards somehow watches this at some point. And so that, I want that on record. So that they can't look at my data that shows I played 2 cards from the Marvel set. And just blindly look at it as data that... Granted, I mean, like, any data that they get from that is going to be anonymized anyway, so... But, this way, this video is a data point showing that, yes, there's at least one person out there who's playing these cards not because they like Marvel. Because like, so sometimes it feels a little dubious as to how exactly Wizards of the Coast is teasing apart, like, okay, here's the people that are playing and buying the Universe Beyond cards because they actually like the property, versus here's the people that couldn't give a shit about what's on the card, or at the very least, for whom it being a Marvel card is not a complete a deal breaker, and they're just playing the card because it's good. Because one of those unquestionably supports the existence of not just Universes Beyond, but also specifically further collaborations with Marvel. The other doesn't. Because the other is a result you could get from any set if you just put the designs in any set. And like my opinions on Universes Beyond have softened a little bit. Like, I can tolerate its existence. I just don't like it being fucking everywhere and also cape shit. Like, I'd be a lot happier with Universes Beyond if it was like 1, maybe 2. It was like max 1, maybe 2 sets with a really well thought out collaboration that still feels like it could be a Magic plane. Like Avatar felt like it could have been a Magic plane. Final Fantasy even, to an extent. Like, I mean, some stuff seems... Let me just find... Okay, I don't actually have it in my collection. But like, stuff like this. Or this. Granted, I mean, like, honestly, they could reprint Instant Ramen into Titan Break, and it would make sense to an extent. but it is definitely something that, like, pushes at the boundaries that some people have with what belongs in a Magic setting. Granted, I enjoyed stuff like Duskmourn and Edge of Eternities, stuff that gets outside of the typical, like, high fantasy, medieval kind of vibe. Like, I'm not one of those people that seemingly wishes Magic had just stayed on Dominaria forever. But, when like, the rest of the set has stuff like, magic crystals, and literally a version of Excalibur. Also throwing in instant ramen does seem a little out of place. But I mean, like, Final Fantasy does have like games that go for a more, like, technological setting than, again, like, very old-fashioned high fantasy kind of stuff. And again, like, I mean, I play Starfinder. I am not entirely against, like, I do not have a problem with, messing around with some of the more, what some could call out there fantasy genres. As long as it's well thought out and well executed. Because at the end of the day, if it's ass, it's ass. But here's the thing. I don't think anyone really calls the genre that Marvel superheroes or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are in fantasy. They're usually more in the realm of science fiction. And also, like, it's one thing to have instant ramen. It's another thing entirely to have just straight up a hot dog cart from New York. Like, the most out there thing about the design of this entire card is that Spider-Man is in the artwork. And also, like a lot of the designs, all of the imagery on, like, the Marvel and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cards kind of looks like ass. Especially the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because, like, this is not actually going to be a card image, but... Well, let me just take a look at one of the avatars available. Why are there so... Wizards, does Marvel really need this many avatars? Hey, at least I've still got access to Fleam. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. That's a total of 29 avatars of all Marvel characters. Okay, Magic has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we've got 15 here. So yeah, that's like a solid. Well, I mean, Shadowheart is here, so she doesn't really quite count. So I mean, yeah, like that's like 45. And also, I can't even see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles avatars here because I guess they're not on sale anymore. Like, I guess it only shows avatars you can currently buy. And, avatars you can currently buy, or I guess maybe acquire from somewhere else. Specifically. Like, really? Like, I think Avatar only got like 5. Like, that's a lot for one. That's a lot for a property that has 2 sets. No wonder I keep seeing people with Marvel avatars everywhere. There's a lot of different ones. Okay, let me see if I can get a picture. Okay, it's hard. I'm having a hard time finding any pictures whatsoever of specifically the avatars from the set. Okay, we've got I think I found one. Let's just grab this. It's a nice PNG even. It's a nice transparent PNG. Not the specific one I was looking for. But like, just look at that face. That is not a face that I look at and say, yeah, I want to be involved in whatever that's from. Honestly, that's a face that makes me say, please, get it away from me. You know what, maybe if I queue up for some brawl, I will find somebody using, I believe it's Donatello as their avatar. Yeah, got the usual Final Fantasy deck. But, you know, at least Final Fantasy is, you know, one of the sets where it's like, yeah, I see where the logic was in them thinking, yeah, this makes sense for a game called Magic the Gathering. Yeah, this makes sense as a collaboration for reasons that are entirely monetary. Play Glarb. Go ahead and play that land off the top of my deck. Also, they didn't get any creatures in their graveyard. So they don't actually get to do anything with that. Right, Head Shredder. Play a land. Pass the turn. Like, there's some decent art, like, which I mean, like, ultimately it's all opinion, as is the case with all art. But like, you know, this is all right. Like the stuff that doesn't have so much of an emphasis on brightly colored spandex, I find much more appealing when it comes to like the Marvel stuff. Alright, good looking through all of that. Now that I have 4 2/2 zombies. And their commander, well, Big, has no trample. So I can just keep blocking with the 2/2 zombies and be fine. I think I will actually Ritual Soot. Just to get them out of that loop of making more and more spiders and activating Craven's Last Hunt again and again and again. And now play a creature, get a bunch more zombies. Because that's how the circle works. Okay, still no Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in terms of the avatars. Granted, this is only my second match for the night in this format. You know, I'll play this as a land so that I have this to use for blue later if I need to. Yeah, just go ahead and kill that. Okay, what did you think that was going to do? Like, did you think it said power less than 3? Or toughness less than 3? Like that. That goes back to my hand.
Impressed? Good. Share in my glory.
Immediately give the Vantress Gargoyle back. Gets the DC out. Activate the Gargoyle. Then untap the Gargoyle.
Ready for round 2.
And their one creature with trample can't get past my gargoyle, so as long as I keep up a supply of tokens, I'm pretty much good.
Show them what you're made of.
Okay, the main we're not a bit bigger, which is a bit of a problem. Potentially. If they actually attack with her. Alright, I still Explorer. Play an island from my graveyard. Fabled Passage from the grave. Activate. Swamp. I don't particularly have any creatures I want to bring back from the graveyard right now, so
There's that second wind.
or at least none that Tyvar can bring back. But I've got a nice big supply of zombies. So again, I should be pretty well protected as long as they don't get like massive trample or flying, which flying could maybe happen with an artifact. Heck, seeing as how they're in mono green. Okay, animating all of your lands. And not not by earthbending, so if they die, they don't come back. Oh well, they do kind of come back because they get to conjure a card named Forest onto the battlefield tab. Which for some effects could be better than earthbending, because it lets you do stuff with, like, number of land cards in your graveyard more easily. I play the Teacher's Pest from my graveyard. It becomes 2 Teacher's Pests because I have Twilight Diviner out. Also play a swamp. And a breeding pool for my graveyard. And now I get to just keep making zombies for a little while. Mirror Mind Crown. Equip it to Vantress Gargoyle. Activate Vantress Gargoyle to mill each player 1 card. Untap Vantress Gargoyle.
Take my hand.
Do you have something? No? Well then, let's just keep on moving. Yep, and so Shigeki's doing Shigeki things. I don't even have to worry about using the gargoyle to defend myself, really, because I can just block with a pile of zombies. And now I can keep making more gargoyles every turn, which means more activations of the ability every turn. Privateer's Overlook. Alright, time to make a third gargoyle. Alright, so just gonna activate all 3 gargoyles. And also mill 3 cards from each player's deck. And tap one of them.
Show them what your
You know, throw out a disinformation campaign. Tap Tival and Simic Signet and to pass because I've pretty much got nothing left to do. And they're just going to keep looping Shigeki. Play a Vengeful Blood Witch. Yes, now I get to make another gargoyle. Now I'm making zombies. These because I'm past my first token creation for the turn. And they concede. They have decided that they have had enough and are conceding. Still not the Universe is Beyond Avatar I'm looking for. And like I'm pretty like it looks like this is the one. Wait, hold on. I found it. See, I'll show it after this match. I just had to find it in the long list of different MTG Arena avatars. Ooh, they also are doing stuff with Surveil. Do you not understand how your cards work? Just immediately was like, ooh, I can activate something. I'm gonna do it without thinking about what that actually meant for them. So, you know, their enhanced surveillance is just gone for the entire rest of the game. Because they just kind of threw it away for no reason. Core serve crew fix. Heirloom Monty. Cabra Echo. Guess I'll just kill that because it's only -4/-4. Vengeful Blood Witch. Swing with a 2/2 zombie. It dies, so I surveil, and I get a Blood Witch trigger. Play the forest off the top, and then pass. Oh, they've got the Forsaken Miner. So they've got something they can bring back every time. Okay, interesting choice. Interesting choice to reset your own progress on the thing that your deck is presumably trying to do. Since, like, they get a better commander if they... Like, they can get a better commander lets them do stuff like get extra turns if they get 8 cards in their graveyard. They just shuffled their entire graveyard back into their library. Although at least this time they had one. So it was a better use of that kind of effect than before. Although, you know, they don't... Since they're in blue and black, they don't have access to Gaia's Blessing. Although they could have a Laboratory Maniac, so Right, I still Explorer. Draw. Everything freezes for a moment. Gossip's Talent. Level it up. Swing with Unblockable Sidisi. And now I get to make more zombies. Bunch of lands go into my graveyard. Which means that I still Explorer and Head Shredder that are both trigger. And they concede. Right, here we go. Here's the avatar I was looking for. It's like, I'm not sure what kind of look that's supposed to be. I know I don't like it. And I wish he would stop looking at me like that. And so again, like the other turtle, it's like, yeah, this doesn't make me more interested in engaging with either of the involved properties. So I've been live for about 2 hours. My tooth is kind of bothering me. It's 2:10 a.m. So normally I would be live for another hour and 50 minutes. So how about this? We do an hour filler. Okay, so it looks like we're doing a little bit of Mind Days on a Tuesday. Somehow it failed to set the category to Minecraft. So I will be right back while I set this up. Of course, there is, because I think I've added new mods since the last time I did a Mind Days, so there's a non-zero chance that it could break. In which case, we'll, I'll just spin the wheel again.